I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. Bombshell tonight, live, Texas. A desperate 911 call when an 18-month-old toddler vanishes. Seen just 10 minutes earlier. 10 minutes? Investigators first believe baby Joshua wanders off on his own. But tonight, in a new twist, cops say the baby didn't just walk off. As investigators seize evidence from the family's own backyard, including a tarp, a bucket, and neighborhood trash cans. Tonight, where is baby Joshua?
Still no sign of a missing 18-month-old boy.
Somebody took him. Had to.
Josh Davis Jr. just vanished from his home.
The child was possibly abducted.
We feel that he was taken.
Police searched the home, also had a helicopter cover the area.
He was wandering from our room to the living room where the other family members were. When I realized after about 10 minutes that it was unusual, my baby hadn't been back in the room to come get a toy, come watch the movie.
We had 7 adults and 2 children in the residence. According to the parents, the residence was completely secure.
I thought the theory was that somehow he had managed to turn the doorknob and get out the door, but you're saying he absolutely could not do that, right?
Yes.
I know he's still alive.
I hate going in there. I hate seeing my kids' toys and him not playing with them. I hate seeing my... I used to get on my son and tell him, pick those toys up, boy, and he'd look at me and laugh and run off. I wish I even had him here. I wish I had him here for the toys to be dirty, or the room to be dirty, you know? I wish I had him here.
We are taking your calls live straight out to Michael Board, WOAI News Radio, joining us there in San Antonio, Texas. Michael, the whole thing is far-fetched. I talked to the mom myself. She told me that there were 9 people in the home total, that this little boy could go to the door. Everybody knows at that age they can turn a latch. But she said, a lot, but she said he couldn't twist the doorknob.
Who knows what happened? The only people who know what happened in this home are the people who are in there. We know that all of them, except for one, have given polygraph tests to police. The only person who has not been given a polygraph at this point is the mom, because she's pregnant. Pregnancy is a big problem with polygraph tests. Also, we know today that both the FBI and Texas Rangers now involved with this investigation. Somebody in this home knows something about what happened to this child. Texas Rangers, FBI, they're experts. They'll be able to find out what exactly happened last Friday.
To Jane Casares, legal correspondent in session. What more can you tell me, Jane?
Well, they have executed some search warrants in that home. They have taken out a bucket, a tarp, and items in black plastic. But Nancy, here's what I think is critically important. Bloodhounds went to that home. They could not find a scent outside of that home of the little baby.
Well, I know he's not hidden in the home, or they would have found it in the home. Don't you think, Jane Casares?
Yes, but I think, you know, I think we came down to the theory was that when a friend left the home that night, that he must have walked and crawled out along with it, but the scent wasn't found outside. And when the emergency notification system went out to all the neighbors, no one saw him after massive amounts of searching.
To Lieutenant Michael Penshorn, New Braunfels Police Department, joining us there in Texas. Lieutenant, thank you so much for being with us. I questioned the mother extensively myself, and she told me that she was watching, I think she said Toy Story 3 on a DVD, that the baby, the toddler, 18-month-old Joshua, would come in and out of the room, that he then went to his father, who was in another room, and came up behind him and was pulling on his jacket or his cap or something. And he was only gone for about 10 minutes to her knowledge. When she jumped up and realized he hadn't been in the room for a while, went out, nobody could find him. You know, 9 people, 8 including Joshua, in the home, and nobody saw him leave, Lieutenant?
Exactly. I agree. When you have that many people in a residence, obviously there are people that probably have information and for whatever reason are not necessarily sharing it with the police.
Let's take a listen to what the mother had to say.
We were all in the house. There was 9 people in the house. I was sitting on the bed watching Toy Story with my baby. He was wandering from our room to the living room where the other family members were. When I realized after about 10 minutes that it was unusual, my baby hadn't been back in the room to come get a toy, come watch the movie. I jumped up and I ran to the grandfather's room where there was another baby that my baby was interested in, and asked if he was in there when the grandfather's girlfriend told me he hadn't been in there. So I ran out to the living room and I asked everyone if they seen the baby. We started searching where there was no signs of the baby. So I ran out the house and everyone started looking, and we called the police about 10 minutes. We realized we had nowhere where we hadn't found him.
I don't think he wandered off. He knows his play zone, and they had the scent dogs out here, and they said there's no scent of him leaving out of the yard or anything like that. So I don't see how he could have wandered off. The rest, they said they would have picked something up.
We are taking your calls out to Lavonda in Missouri. Hi, Lavonda. What's your question, dear?
Yes, I had a comment and a question. I was wanting to tell you how I'm glad you and the twins are doing good.
Thank you. Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Yes, they're so beautiful. And my question was, if there were so many people in that house, how did nobody see him go out the door? Which door did he go out of?
Well, you know what? That's a good question. I'm going to go back to Lieutenant Penshorn. Lieutenant, at my home, we have a latch high up, so the twins can't reach that height. And you know why? Because they absolutely, by this age, 18 months, 2 years, they can turn a deadbolt and open the door and get out. Right? They can. The only thing you can do is put something way up where they can't reach it. And we keep that shut on all the doors to the outside at all times. But if you don't have those and the child wanders to another part of the house, it could get out.
Exactly.
Tell me about the layout of this house. Liz, show me the father standing out front. Is that the house in the background? Lieutenant, is that the house? Because it doesn't have that many doors.
Yeah, it's a double-wide mobile home. It does have several interior rooms. From what we understand, there were 7 adults and 2 children, including baby Joshua at the time when he disappeared. The individuals were scattered throughout different rooms. There were at least 2 adults that were in the main room of the house watching a sports game that was on television. It is completely conceivable that the child could have possibly slipped out of the residence undetected with all of the people spread out like they were and also being distracted.
But how small the house is, it probably only had 2, 3 at most doors to the outside. There's 9 people in the home. They had to have seen the baby go out, unless they were all asleep.